Welcome to the Space in Between podcast, a series where we will talk about everything and anything mental performance in a bite-sized fashion.
My name is Ciana and I am here with Frida as per usual. We are both mental performance consultants from Ireland and Sweden. On this podcast, we share our knowledge and insight into all things sport and performance psychology. This includes all things sport and performance, exercise, fitness, and anything that could relate to performance psychology through our own experience and the work that we do with other people.
There you have it. Okay, thank you for that, Ciana. Today's topic is going to be a recap of She Says handball tournament in Ireland, one of the ranking tournaments for the All-Ireland that's coming up next, championship.
Mm-hmm.
And first and foremost, Ciana gets a round of applause. Woo! Because she was victorious.
These are my favorite podcast episodes after handball tournaments. They really suck when I don't win because I have to talk about it, but they're great when I do win.
So yeah, that's what the topic's going to be today. We're going to dive into, your performance, mentally, physically, all those things, talking a little bit about She Says, just like we have with the other tournaments that you have played this far. One of the first things with She Says this year, it's played in different locations every year. And this year, for the first time probably in a long time ever, I don't know.
She Says?
Yeah.
Yeah, first time that 4x20 has been played in Galway.
Yeah, so it was on home soil. And
yeah. And I actually now realize that I said this was the first national tournament that I played in Galway in 10 years. I should specify it's the first 40x20 tournament I've played. If you don't know this about me, 40x20 is my thing. Okay, that's what I like and that's what I train for. So I kind of forgot that the one wall was actually in Galway last year.
Yeah,
and I
that's
did
true.
that.
You did.
Oh well, we're talking 40x20 here.
Yes, we are talking about the 40x20 season. And that was a really nice change of pace for us, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was so nice.
It was amazing to have it literally in the backyard. The court that Ciana was playing is in Moycullen, one of the closest towns to where we live, because we live in between your hometown basically and Moycullen. So it was a 10-minute drive down to the court.
Yeah, it's lovely.
That was it was a luxury.
Yeah, I mean, usually at tournaments, what happens is you're staying at a hotel and then you can go back to the hotel after games if it's close. Or on Sundays, let's say you played a semi-final in the morning and then the final in the evening. You've checked out of your hotel. So in between semi-final and final, you either stay at the courts all day or I'll often, find a cafe or something to sit in. It was so nice after the semi-final to come home for 3 hours and then just go back when I needed to be there to warm up.
Yeah, that was so nice.
It was nice. I can see how there could be a challenge with that too, because a part of the tournament vibe also is you're going away for the weekend. Yeah. You're kind of in this bubble that is handball. So I was very conscious of that too. I didn't want it to feel too much, just a normal weekend.
Yeah. You're rolling down to the court to play a training game.
Yeah.
That's not what's happening.
So that could be difficult as well. But I think we did a good job of relaxing and then switching on again.
Oh, it was so nice to be able to switch off that way and just be so comfortable in your home, in your space.
Cook your meals.
It really allowed us, when you think about controlling the controllables, it allows us to control those things very well.
Yeah.
And just being in that comfortable routine.
Yeah, I thought the weirdest part was finishing the final. The final started at 4 and it was over at 5:30. And then, we were leaving the courts at 6 or a little bit after 6. Yeah. Usually we have a 2 to 3 hour journey of dissecting the whole weekend. And then it was no, we're home after 10 minutes. So I was okay, that was actually the weirdest part for me.
Yeah, the 10-minute journey just consisted of jump, 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 instead of actually talking about it,
I know.
That was nice though. I think about the environment of playing in Moycullen. I actually thought that the crowd was amazing the whole weekend, very engaged in the games, and there was a lot of clapping and cheering because the handball that we saw and you played and the other players played, I thought there was really high standard, really good games.
Yeah.
Very entertaining. For my heart, not so good when it's such lovely handball games that are very entertaining and the handball standard is so high. It's very much back and forward. It makes me grow gray hairs. But for the entertainment purpose and just, the beauty of the sport, like that's what you
Yeah.
want out of the weekend, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I actually like really enjoyed that yesterday because, like you said, like so both semifinals in the Ladies Open went to tiebreakers.
Yeah.
And then the final also went to a tiebreaker. And like obviously it's easy for me to say because I came out the right end of all of my games. But like I think it was a good day for ladies handball because like the games were all so good and so competitive and like really a good standard of handball, which like it doesn't happen that often that every game on the day is actually really, really competitive. Like for one reason or another, like it's rare for all four players to, you know, bring that level and like to perform really well on the same day. So it was a cool day to be a part of as well.
Yeah, it's like everybody showed up.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, maybe other people will.
Easy for us to say once again, because obviously we came out of this weekend very happy that Ciana took home the title.
Yeah, I mean, maybe someone else is like, no, I played like crap.
Yeah, so we obviously can't speak for other
Yeah.
people. Speaking from my experience watching and stuff, that's what it felt like for me anyway.
Yeah.
But of course, people have their own experience as well. But yeah, once again, like, you know, I thought it was handled so well in Moycullen and all the people that were organizing that, like the volunteers from the club and then
Yeah.
obviously the personnel from GA Handball.
Well, I also think
all
like,
those things.
you know, we don't usually talk about the ins and outs of tournaments
No.
on this podcast, but like obviously I was playing in Moycullen, but like it was run all over the county.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I know that out in Claregalway there was like 170 games of handball played on Saturday.
Crazy.
In the girls under 11 division, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe there was another division as well there, but like I was like, oh my God, I can't even fathom like my eyeballs still being in my head after seeing that much handball.
Yeah.
So like it was definitely a collective effort.
Yeah, of course. I mean, once again, I can only speak from where we were, and
Yeah.
that was down in Moycullen. But of course, there were so many places that had games going on all weekend. But yeah, and the reason why I brought this up is also because playing in Galway, you are from Galway. Like I said, I thought that the crowd was cheering on both players, you know, clapping for good shots, good rallies, all those things. But then there was definitely a little bit of a buzz, like with you being from Galway and then coming out victorious, and there was excitement around that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's not very often in handball that there is like that kind of buzz because, like, I don't know, sometimes I'd be in the court and I'm like, tough crowd today, guys. You know, you just hit the best shot of your life and it's just silence, and you're like, okay.
Yeah.
You don't like actively think about those things on the court, but like, yesterday you were very aware of if I hit a good shot or my opponent hit a good shot or like in the other game, like people were getting into the game and enjoying that. Okay, that was a kill, I'm gonna clap.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
which like let's do that more.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it was, I thought it was it felt like there was electric in there, which is a fun experience. So yeah, anyway, on to the performance.
Wow.
Yeah, we went on a tangent there. No harm though. It was a great weekend. Anyway, so I guess what's something that's a little bit interesting before we completely dive into your performance is even the format of this tournament that is different from the other tournaments. So on Saturday, you had 4 group games essentially. And usually it's not like that. It's a playoff right away. So you win, you advance, you lose, you're out to go to plate, etc. So this has a little bit of a different vibe the first day. And then obviously if you advance to the next stage, which was the semifinal on Sunday, then it was the knockout stage. So just talk through that a little bit. It's an interesting, obviously you know it's going to be like that because you've played Chiseis a good few times. But how was that different from the other tournaments this far?
I mean, it's very different because you just play one game to 21.
Yeah.
So it is more like not that you need to, but you definitely want to be ready to go from the start.
Yeah.
Which you want all the time. But like, you know, when it's one game, maybe there's less of a chance for wiggle room with that. It also is an interesting format because you play people like, I don't think I had ever played any of the girls that I played in the 4x20 before in the group stage.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of the time, you know, the rankings don't change that much throughout a season. So you might play this similar group of people throughout. Whereas with the She's Ace, you really end up playing a variety of people.
Yeah.
Which I always think is a good thing, you know. It's difficult too because like you play 4 games in one day, which typically you play like a max 2. So then, you know, you have to warm up, play, cool down, warm up, play, cool down. So even though it's only one game 21, it's a lot of mental effort as well.
Yeah.
To like
Stay
keep
locked in.
doing that. And like I can see that can definitely be fatiguing to like keep doing that. Because like my first game was at 9 a.m. and then my last game was at 5:20 in the evening. That's a long time to just be thinking and preparing for it.
Yeah.
But again, it's pretty similar for most people, but it's different from other competitions.
Yeah, but it is a different type of environment, and obviously that brings different challenges or positives, negatives, etc. So something that was interesting that day too, that I want to talk a little bit about, was one of your games. You were feeling a lot more frustrated than you have, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because after the game, and when we talked about, because obviously we always talk about these things, you said, "Oh, I don't remember the last time I felt so frustrated playing." It was an interesting experience, and like kind of how you navigated those frustrating feelings during and afterwards. So I just want to talk a little bit more about that, if you wanted to share that experience.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like I felt super good playing all my games, even in the last one. And then my opponent got like a really good run. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm sure a lot of sports people, and especially in a sport like this where it can turn so quickly, you're just like, what is happening? Like, why do I keep hitting those shots or like not hitting those shots, and you're kind of like questioning what you're doing. For me, the frustration leads to tension, and then that leads to maybe missing shots or going for things that I'm like, why am I even doing that?
Yeah.
And then afterwards, it was interesting because I was saying, it's so annoying to finish the day on that game, because if you start the day with that game, but then the next 3 games you feel really good, you'll end the day feel good. You start the day with 3 games where you felt good, everything was smooth, and then you end the day on a more difficult game mentally, then maybe run the risk of bringing that into the next day. But again, that's all psychological as well, because it's the same thing at the end of the day. Afterwards, it was really important to just allow frustration to exist, but then also be like, okay, now tomorrow is a new day.
Yeah.
Because in my initial response was like, I'm so annoyed with today.
Yeah.
But actually I was just annoyed with that 15 minutes of handball that I played at the end of the day. And like I still got to where I needed to be, which was in the semi-final, and like it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
So not kind of bundling the whole day as frustrating and annoying. Like, no, that patch of one game was frustrating and annoying.
Yeah.
But 3.5 games were great,
No, it's interesting because, I mean, kind of what you brought up there, it shows that negativity bias that we have, right? So your initial thought was, well, this was not a good day. But then when you take a step back and you're like, wait a second, that's not actually true. It was a minimal part of the day. And then what you said about not bringing it in with you to the next day, what were some of the things that you did to allow yourself to reset?
First, we talked about it, and I just like let out everything that I was thinking and feeling about my performance. And then I journaled, so I wrote down all those things. And then, I mean, just the normal things I would do to recover after a game. Like, when I kind of also said to you, like, I kind of want to stop talking about it now. So, like, it is what it is. And now I'm focused on tomorrow. So, not like turning it into this thing. It's just like, okay, that was annoying. And now we move on with our lives.
Yeah. So to kind of summarize that, there was space to feel the feelings, the frustration, whatever, talked about it, let it out, and then journal about it. And then that was it. Then we're moving on.
And I also I often come back to the thought of, it's one of those things where I think the word ego comes to my mind, but like, who do I think I am that like I can't, like everyone has a difficult patch. I'm just like every other handball player who has moments where they play good, or spells where they're playing good, and spells where like their opponent is playing better than them.
Yeah.
Not even spells where you're playing bad. It's okay sometimes to be like, they were executing their shots better. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that's how it was in that moment. I'm so competitive and like I want to win and play well all the time. Sometimes just like, who do you think you are, Ciana? Like you're just like any other person who's trying their best and sometimes doing really well. And sometimes it's really difficult. Reminding myself of that, you're not that special. So like these things happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's an important thing to remind yourself that you're human just like the rest of us.
True. Just like the rest of you commoners.
Exactly. No, but for real, like because that just makes that experience normalized. Like it's a normal thing to happen.
Yeah.
And that's obviously an important thing. And that's a part of self-compassion, reminding ourselves of that common humanity. Like, we're all the same people. We experience similar things. You're not special in that sense, like
No.
everything you're experiencing, someone else has also and will at some point also experience, most likely.
And like even the thought when you're in the court, what is wrong with me? That's such an interesting thought to have. You just hit a ball into the ground, like, chill, girl. It's okay.
Okay, so that's what we did to move on from that anyway, to get locked in on Saturday, Sunday on the semifinal. So then talk us through the semifinal and the final. 2 intense games.
Yeah, they kind of were like similar in a way in the way they played out. Like my opponent, well, the first game actually, Alicia McCrory started off really strong and she maintained a really good level. And like I don't even think I started slowly or anything. It just like took a little bit to get some points on the board. And then the one thing that I always say is like, the longer the game goes on, like I know that I'll be able to maintain a high level. So I feel really confident in that. That game, there was moments of both of us, I think, like questioned some things. Like we felt maybe that a call didn't go how we thought it should. And like, I can only speak from my own experience, but like from obviously being there in the court with Alicia too, I think both of us like stayed pretty level headed, even if we did question some things, which could be difficult on another day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was an interesting game in that sense. I mean, I had written on my gloves like smooth and breathe, and like that was really important to remember.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes you just get drawn into things that distract you from what's actually going to help you play well. Sometimes in any game there's going to be things that every player disagrees with, but like something that's important to me, not just in terms of my performance, but is like, yeah, I will question anything that I'm like bit skeptical about.
Yeah.
And I do that. In most games, I'll probably have a question for the ref. It's very important to me to like, the ref is also trying to do their best. And like, in a way, it's a performance for them as well. I don't just think about how I play handball. I think about who I am on the court. So like, if I'm going to ask a question, like, it's very important to me that I ask a question. I'm not like jumping down someone's throat or like making it a big deal. It's like, I'm just going to ask this because I'm playing and like this is a difficult situation for me as well. Like, you're under pressure.
Yeah.
But like, that's just part of the game as well.
Absolutely.
Like, dealing with those things is part of the game.
And it doesn't matter what level you're playing at.
Yeah.
There's going to be moments like that. And when a call is made and then whatever call comes out of that, that's the call. It's accepting that and moving on. If we can't do that, regardless of if it's in your favor or not, that's when issues will start to arise.
Yeah. And I think every handballer has probably had the experience of feeling like a call went against them. And every handballer has probably had the experience of feeling like, I got away with that one.
Yeah, 100%.
So, when you like bend down to pick up the ball and walk back to serve with confidence, even though you're like, that was probably short.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, from playing soccer myself, I can relate to that experience too. Semi-final, great game. It was a lot of fun to watch, even though my heart was in my throat the whole time. Ciana. No, very nice to me that way.
A lot of people told me it was entertaining, so.
It was entertaining. I'll give you that.
And then the final was kind of similar, like the story that unfolded, if we will, but it was a lot closer. Like in the first game, like in the semi-final, Alicia kind of got a good lead at the start, whereas in the final, if I remember correctly, like we were fairly close all the way up.
I actually don't really remember.
Yeah, I know, it was only yesterday, but wow, everything's a blur.
Yeah.
And then again, it's one of those things where I feel confident in my ability to play into a game, even if I don't get the best run at the start. So let's just say that stood to me yesterday.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. So let's talk about the final specifically. You lost the first game.
Yeah.
What goes through your mind when you go out for the break before the second game? Like, what's on your mind? Obviously I'm there, lucky me. But yeah, what are you thinking? Because I'm sure people would love to know what's happening in your head.
I feel like I always just say the same thing, so people are probably so boring. Obviously, you're like, oh, right, I'm down a game, so this is going to be longer than I wanted it to be if I'm going to come out successful. But genuinely just thinking, I still have the exact same opportunity. The reason that I'm here is to perform well, and my goal is to win. So I still can do that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, right, how are we going to figure this game out? I've obviously lost that game for some reason, so what can I do to make this game slightly different in my advantage? Because I mean, I've I've also experienced a lot of games where it's gone to a tiebreaker. Many games are won and lost in a second game and going into a tiebreaker. You still have the exact same opportunity to win. Like, there's no point getting stressed about it. That's what I think about. I don't even necessarily think about it anymore at this point. It's just like, okay, what can we do to figure this game out?
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that you don't get off the court and you're like kicking yourself for that losing the first game.
No, I wait
Your
till
focus is
I wait till after the second game to do that.
No, your focus is on, okay, next game, first point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just at this point, that is not going to help me play well.
Yeah.
So then I'm moving further away from what I actually want to do.
Yeah.
So then let's just find another way to handle this situation, you know?
So I guess then the last question that I'll ask about that is kind of similar to winning the second game and then knowing, okay, now we got a tiebreaker. It kind of felt like there was a little bit of switch in your head in the second game, and then when you stepped onto the court for the tiebreaker.
I felt like I was building throughout a game. It's like, would I describe it as when you're like, you know, that little loading thing you see on the screen? Okay, now we're going. I don't know if that's a good way to describe it. I will just say that I enjoy a tiebreaker. I feel physically strong. Mentally, I'm like, okay, 11 points, let's go. And I'm ready to do anything to hit that little blue ball back. I think the physical side of it really comes into it for me. I fully think that all the other girls at the top level are well able to keep going in a tiebreaker. So, but it's just all about me, and like, I know I'm going to keep pushing for as long as this game takes. So that is a huge thing to make me play with a high intensity going into a tiebreaker.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you've talked about a lot of times, that you have a lot of confidence in your physical ability, your endurance, your strength, your power, all those things. And that carries you through like all your handball games.
Yeah, I mean, that is a huge thing for me, like the kind of bringing the physical side into the mental side and letting it like fuel what I'm focusing on.
Yeah. I only said one thing to Ciana in that tiebreaker, or before the tiebreaker, I said, you love this shit, let's go. That was literally the only thing I said.
Yeah.
And then she went. So that was all me, just saying.
The longer you're in the court, everything else fades away. I'm just in here like running around after this little ball and then hitting it where I want to put it. It's so satisfying when it's going where you want it to go, you know?
Yeah.
I think I just got a good momentum in the tiebreaker. And when you feel like things are going your way, you just keep kind of going with it and going for it.
Yeah.
And maybe in the first game, a couple of shots that I went for, maybe they would have been a little bit off. Whereas in the tiebreaker, it just felt like, all right, now I'm in a good groove. So I'm going to keep going for the kill.
Yeah, I mean, that's a awesome place to be in when you are the person experiencing that. But I think about other games you have played when the other opponent is in that little flow where they're just like, so then it's like, well, how do I break that momentum? So I absolutely love the fact that you had that momentum. Thank you. It was really good for me, from my heart.
Yeah, you're like, why do you start slow? And I'm like, well, do we want to start slow or finish strong? Both starting and finishing strong would be good. We'll get there. Peak in February, March.
Yeah. So that's what next then, isn't it?
Yeah, next is championship. And like I was just saying yesterday, this is the last 4x20 tournament of the year. Like
it's flown.
Yeah, it's flown. Ask me again in like 6 weeks, because we have the doubles then as well.
Yeah.
So that will make it like it's at least another 2 months of handball.
That was a little different though. You know, I see that as a different part of, it's not the 40x20 season, you know, it's not really the same.
No, it is though.
No, I don't think so.
It is. We're going for the 3-peat.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It is the 40x20 season. It's the 40x20 doubles.
Yeah, I suppose.
So we'll agree to disagree on this one.
Yeah, we'll agree to disagree. I just see it as different sections in my head, you know?
You see like singles and doubles?
Yeah, singles, doubles, one wall. Anyway, well, that's coming from someone that clearly does not play the sport. Anyway.
Anymore.
I got gently put down there. So, I mean, it's at least like 3 weeks until you're competing again, isn't it?
Yep.
So I don't really know what we're going to talk about on the podcast from now until then, but I guess we'll figure it out.
Maybe we'll talk about something that's not handball on the podcast.
Yeah. If you want more handball in your life, after this podcast episode, there will be a YouTube video, obviously. Eventually. I am not sure exactly when it will come up. Maybe Sunday.
We have other things to do.
Yeah, I probably won't have time to get it done by Wednesday already. But yeah, maybe Sunday. Kind of talking about the She Say, see a little bit behind the scenes and that fun stuff that we have been doing
Mhm.
for this season. And then obviously, follow us on media, YouTube, Instagram, all those fun things. There's a lot of fun things happening, so definitely be on the lookout for all that.
And remember to keep using the space in between.